friends, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk books with Shannon. This video I am going to do a reading journal update. Back in December I showed you my reading journal setup for 2025 and we haven't really updated it since then, so I will show you the first 2 months and how my reading has progressed. Okay, and please hit subscribe, please hit like, and please leave me comments. A question you can leave comments for is, I also do some, I do all kinds of journaling. I do month at a glance journaling, I do junk journaling, and I have my planner, which I decorate, etc. So if those are things you're interested in seeing, let me know. My channel is mostly about reading, but I don't mind doing other things because reading's my passion, but I also have other hobbies. So if that's something you're interested in, please comment below and let me know. Okay, reading journal for 2025. For January, let's see where we started. I haven't colored in my books yet for February, but I started off my bookshelves. I haven't colored them in for February yet, but I read 13 books in January and 12 books in February. This is just my tracker. If I read 30 minutes, then I color it in for the day. So just reading, it just means I read 30 minutes or more. The only day I didn't read 30 minutes or more was one day in February. So all the other days in the first 2 months, I read 30 minutes or more, which is really good. Total books for the 2 months was 25. That's my book count. Not bad. That puts me on track. I have my goal is 120, which is about 10 books a month. So I read 13 one month and 12 the other month. So that keeps me on track for that goal. My pages read per week for January and February. 5 weeks in January, so there's an extra week in there. And then the 4 weeks in February. The monthly rate comes out to 5,186 days I read in pages I read in January, which comes to about 167 pages per day. And for February, I read 3,068 pages, which comes out to 132 pages per day. So, my bingo. Haven't filled much in my bingo, my reading challenge bingo yet because we're just getting started. I do put tally marks when, my goal is to read 5 books over 500 pages. I've read 3 so far. So once I've read 5 books over 500 pages, then I'll color that in. So the only one colored in, these two look colored in, but they're not. Those are just covered over because of mistakes. But the only one I've colored in is 2 foreign authors. So I've read 2 foreign authors already, so I have colored that in. But I am on my way in a lot of others. I made a lot of progress in my new female authors. I'm supposed to read 10 new female authors this year, and I've already read 8 new authors, and it's only February, so that's good. My alphabet challenge. My alphabet challenge always takes off in the first 2 months because obviously you're reading a lot of books and you don't have any of the letters filled in. The letters get a little tougher. As you go on in the year. The W I already have filled in, which is nice, and the V, sometimes those are a little tough. The harder ones, of course, are Q and X and Z. So X I usually use a Christmas book for and just say Xmas. But I'm doing well on that as well. Okay, my best book bracket. Okay, this side is the only side that we have right now. My best book of January was Bourbon and Lies. It was a 5-star read. In February, I haven't picked yet. It's going to be either Beartown or Redeeming 6. So I will choose. Once I have March done, then I got to choose the best of the 3, which carries on over to here. Just like a sports bracket. So far, Bourbon and Lies was my best book of January, and either Beartown or Redeeming 6 was my best book in February. Okay, memorable book hooks. I've only had 2 that I would consider really memorable. The first one was, this is just the first line. I always think that the first line in a book, should hook you and draw you in and make you want to read more. And these 2 books really did that for me right in the beginning. But again, lots of books have great quotes in them, but I'm talking about in the first paragraph of either the prologue or chapter 1. So in one of them is, that just made me laugh out loud, was there were severed heads hanging from the ceiling again. That was from Assistant to the Villain, and it made me laugh out loud. Second one, late one evening toward the end of March, a teenager picked up a double-barreled shotgun, walked into the forest, put the gun to someone else's forehead, and pulled the trigger. This is the story of how we got there. And that's the first line in Beartown, and which was a 5-star read for me. Okay, 5-star reads for the year thus far. I had 5 in January. Oh, there it is. I had Saving Six by Chloe Walsh, Alive and Wells by Bailey Hanna. That was a romantic suspense. Bourbon and Lies, also a romantic suspense, Victoria Wilder, and Behind the Net, which was a sports romance by Stephanie Archer. And those last three, books 2, 3, and 4 in January were all new authors for me. So that was fun to have so many 5 reads. In February, I had 3 5-star reads. Beartown by Frederick Bachman, Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh, and Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. Catherine Cowles was a new author for me. So lots of new authors that I'm giving high ratings to that I'm excited about. Okay, my book series. I've been filling in my book series as I go. I'm a 20 book series at least that I'm in the middle of, so that's all right. I fill those in as I go. Okay, top 3 books of each month. For January, we have Bourbon and Lies. I actually have 4 books for January. Alive and Wells, Behind the Net, which I all gave 5 stars, and then Saving Six. February, my top 3 were the 5 stars, Redeeming Six, Beartown, and Fragile Sanctuary. Sometimes in my top 3 or 4, I don't have a 5-star, but I've had lots of 5 stars so far this year. Okay, my tally marks. Read 25 books so far. 7 of them were 5-star reads. 10 of them were 4 or more, 4.2, 4.5 stars. And 7 were 3 stars or above. And I had 1 DNF so far this year, which was The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. And that's on the next page, my DNFs, which I just mentioned. Okay, audiobooks. I'm just going to tell you, I've had 7 audiobooks. I'm just going to tell you my best and my worst, because I like to know if someone doesn't like an audiobook, because, you don't want to listen to one. That's not so good. So my favorite audiobooks, have been the Boys of Tommen series. This year I read Saving Six and Redeeming Six, which is Joey and Aoife's story. But the audiobooks are fantastic. Everyone has the Irish brogue, and I just love it. And you just feel like you're in Ireland, and I just think those audiobooks are fabulous. Of the 7 audiobooks, most of the others were just, good, fine. But there was one I didn't like. The Cheat Sheet. I liked the book okay. I didn't give it. It was one of Sarah Adams. It's not my favorite Sarah Adams book, but I did not like the audio on that one. So if you are a Sarah Adams fan and want to read Cheat Sheet, I would not listen to the audio. I did not like the female main character in that one, on the narrator. She felt immature, and it just bothered me. So wouldn't recommend that on audios. Okay, Kindle books, just 4 Kindle books so far. I'll get more as we go. All right, my monthly star ratings. I like to see how many I have each month. I had 1 DNF in January, 2 3.25, 1 3.0, 1 3.75, 1 4.0, 3 4.25s, and I had 4 5-star reads. My average rating was 3.8 for January. And that's just because of the DNF. That brought it down. Normally, I'm 4 point something for my average, which I am in February. I'm 4.2 with 3 5-star reads. So 4.2 is kind of my average anyway, in between 4.2 and 4.5. So that was my average for February. I've read 4 library books. Books bought. I bought 4 in January, which is good. Kind of my goal is to do 5 or less, but I bought 7 books in February. So that's all right. I'll make up for it somewhere else. All right. And okay, my January TBR, above the line is what I said in my beginning of the month video, what I was going to read. My TBR, I think we did the wheel, or maybe we did drawing out of the jar, but I think the TBR jar picked my books for that month. But anyway, we picked 8, and I read 7 of the 8. The one that is not colored in is the one I didn't read. These underneath are all just extras I read that I came across. So yeah, so I got 7 of the 8 of my TBR read, which was really great. However, February, not quite as good. Before we get to February, I'm going to do here's the books I read in January, which was 13, and my ratings underneath. And my wrap-up page. I read 5,186 pages. I hauled 4 books. These were my ratings. Again, 4, 5 stars, 3, 4.251, 3.75 one book, 3.252 books, 3.01 book, and 1 DNF. These are the genres. The genres I didn't get in the right order here, but romance, sports romance, let's see, 5 romance, 3 sports romance, romance suspense I read 2, which I'm going to be reading a lot more of. I had read 1 historical fiction, 1 mystery, and 1 fantasy. I always list the new releases that I'm interested in, which was Out of the Woods, which I have at the library, I think I'm on a waiting list. And Beg, Borrow, and Steal is another new release I'd like to read. My favorite book of the month in January was Bourbon and Lies, and my worst, which was my DNF, was The Nanny. February. Not as good on my TBR. I read 12 books, which was fine, but if you look above the sticker line, those are the books I said I'd read in my February TBR, and I only read 3 of them. I transferred a couple of them over to March, but yeah, that was unfortunate. These actually over here belong down here. Okay, that's okay though. My ratings are always on the opposite side, which you always get at the end of my monthly wrap-ups. But I'll also show you, there's my February page for the covers. I'm missing 1. I don't have 1 yet. I think it's the play along, but, and the ratings underneath. And, oh, I didn't fill in the pages read yet, but I'll have to do that. 7 is how many books I hauled. I had 1 book 3.25, 1 3.50, 1 3.75, 4 4.0s, 1 4.25, 1 4.5, and 3 5.0s. Genres. I still got my 3 books that were not romance. That's kind of one of my goals. I had 1 thriller, 2 literary fiction. I had, and a fantasy. So I had 4 books that weren't romance. And then the rest were romance. I had a musical romance, 2 romance suspense, 2 sports romance, and 3 general romance. New releases, Unloved and First Time Caller by B.K. Borson and Unloved by Peyton Corinne are all our books I want to read that were released in February. I do not have either one of them yet. Book of the month, 5.0, was Redeeming 6. And worst book of the month, which I wouldn't call it a bad book. I really enjoyed it. It was I gave it 3.25, but it was Assistant to the Villain. That was my lowest rated book for February. Okay, I think that updates us. Yes, because then we'll be starting March. And yeah, so just a quick 2-month update, short little video. And thanks for tuning in. Let me know if there's, if you are interested in other journals, if you like to junk journal, or if you I have a day at a glance journal, like I said, or a month at a glance journal, those kinds of things. If you'd like to see those, let me know. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thank you, friends. Please take care of each other. Happy reading.